Welcome back to my channel. Mariah Monetize here, and we have a stimulus update. So this afternoon we heard from Mitch McConnell, and he presented us with information from the draft. So there was three main points that he made during this entire speech. He talked about getting kids back in school, he talked about getting people back at work, and he talked about winning the healthcare fight against the virus. He repeated this 3 times. So clearly those are the 3 focuses for him and his crew behind him to come up with this draft. So he talked about helping schools and universities reopen with more than $100 billion. He talked about policies to help childcare providers and schools have the flexibility that they need to function. So that's clearly a huge priority, is getting people back to work, getting kids back in school, and winning the fight against the virus. So when it came to jobs, he spoke a bit about direct checks for households, pretty much basically like the previous check. So it's looking like that $1,200 stimulus check is going to be arriving at your doorstep coming soon. He talked about some more support for those people that have to deal with vulnerable adult dependents, so that's great news there. I'm assuming this is more for people that have disabilities, adults with disabilities. He also talked about the PPP, a renewal of that program to prevent layoffs. So if you're not exactly sure what the PPP is, Payroll Protection Program, and that basically covers payroll, rent, utilities, health insurance for employees. So those are some things that are covered under the PPE, and it's all about retaining employees. He talked about federal supplements for unemployment insurance. This is basically a weekly dollar amount. We know before that it was $600 a week. We know that there was an issue with people making more money staying at home than they were going to their jobs. So we are anticipating the $600 to be reduced, but we do not have a clear number yet. He also expressed his concern with people making more money at home than they are at work. He talked about incentives for worker retention, about getting Americans rehired and helping small businesses with PPE, testing and supplies to protect customers and both employees. I think this is great because as a business, just imagine being hit by the pandemic and then you now have to change the entire way that your business functions to be in a more safe compliance manner to protect your employees, to protect your customers. If you're a restaurant, you're serving way less people. So it's really, great to hear that they are planning on helping companies, small businesses with PPE. This is a great one. Incentives for companies to manufacture PPE right here in the United States. And the best part about that is he even mentioned it, right? We don't want China necessarily taking over that particular supply chain. I think that what we've learned in this whole process is that it's much better to be producing things here in the States when we're in situations like this, so that we can just simply rely on ourselves. He talked about healthcare and funds going towards diagnostics, treatment, and vaccines. He talked about protecting seniors who rely on Medicare. He wants to protect them from premium spikes. And then he also got into some legal liability protection. So for nurses, doctors, charities, school districts, colleges, and employers, so that they can reopen instead of fighting for their lives against lawsuits, which I think is a great addition. So we're waiting to see more details on this, what the dollar amounts are to be delegated to basically each sector that he talked about, and more details there. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and that's all I have for you today. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.